All right, Zach Top. It's been an interesting journey to get to this basement at the Ranchman's in
Yeah,
Calgary, but here we are. It's been that.
here
Thanks,
we are.
thanks for making this happen, dude. I'm super stoked to be
Certainly.
awesome.
I appreciate
I
you
shot
coming.
my shot on your guys' Instagram, and we got connected with Mike, and it all worked out well. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to get into a bit of your background. Like, not a lot of
Yeah.
our followers kind of know your stories. So tell us a bit about where you grew up, where you come from, how you kind
Yeah.
of ended up in Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess to start at the beginning, I born down in Sunnyside, Washington. Grew up on a little farm down there. My dad was in the livestock business. Still runs a sale barn back down there close to Sunnyside. Um, anyway, yeah, I kind of grew up trying to think I wanted to be a cowboy and spending. I like to say spend enough time on the horse's back looking at a cow's ass that I can wear the hat on stage without being ashamed. But I ain't no cowboy. I realized pretty quick I wasn't no good at that, and figured out I could play and sing a little bit. I wanted to play guitar ever since I could remember, really. I guess the first stuff I remember hearing was George Strait and Marty Robbins. You know, all them old cowboy songs and stuff was what kind of initially caught my ear as a little kid. My parents had a lot of that playing around the house and in Dad's old pickup truck. You know, everything. So fell in love with that stuff. I think they got me a guitar when I was 3. I banged around on it backwards for a long time because I was left-handed. They didn't know it made a difference. I didn't either, and so they bought me a right-handed guitar, and I was just playing the thing backwards. But anyways, started taking. They put me in lessons when I was 5, I guess.
Wow.
And yeah, it's funny. The gal that was teaching me asked me first day I walked in. She's like, "What song you want to learn to play first?" And I said, "Amarillo by Morning," without hesitation. She was a little appalled by that, I think, and she's like, "Okay, maybe let's start with Jesus Loves Me or something, and then we can move on to that." So, anyways, yeah, that kind of. And then the funny thing, she happened to be big into the bluegrass music and old time fiddle world, all that kind of stuff. So she kind of got me and my whole family turned on to that stuff. Had a little brother and 2 older sisters. We had a little family band, ran around for 10 years. We played our first show, I think, when I was 7.
Wow.
Opened up for a Patsy Cline musical at the local high school.
Way.
Yeah. So got started early on that, and then ran around. Yeah, like I said, for 10 years, every weekend of the summer, basically, we were playing bluegrass festivals, Grange halls, open mics, whatever we could get our hands on, pretty much. So that was kind of where the music stuff started.
And
Anyway.
so it's always been country music for you, hey? Like
Yep.
it never kind of drifted away or dabbled in anything else. It's always been country music. Wow.
Yeah, I appreciate a little everything. I'll listen to a little bit of
Yeah.
everything, but yeah, as far as what I wanted to, this is all I know how to do. I couldn't change if I tried. I don't think.
When you mentioned like George Strait and then kind of those greats back then,
Yeah.
so who else were you drawing your influence off of? Because you obviously have like a really '90s country vibe, and I think
Sure.
that's why people gravitate to your music.
Yeah.
It sounds like familiar. Like for me, it
Yeah.
sounds like what I grew up listening to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was the stuff that kind of originally, made me fall in love with it for sure. Was the '90s stuff, but then when I was like trying to work on my singing and playing and stuff, I spent more time listening to, what the '90s guys were influenced by. I was going back to Haggard and Jones, and all the way back to Ray Price or Lefty Frizzell or stuff like that. So way back, and then I think probably when I started taking my singing seriously, Keith Whitley was probably the #1 guy that I really emulated as far as singing. But then, guys like Haggard and Jones, like I mentioned before, and Gary Stewart's another kind of, some people know him, some don't. Unsung hero of country music, I like to call him. But yeah, so that would be some of the big names that, I really gravitated toward. And then, of course, the '90s legend, Alan Jackson's another big one.
Yeah.
Obviously, I already mentioned Strait. Those guys were
Like Tracy Bird. Like when I hear you, I hear like a lot of Tracy Bird.
Sure,
Like,
I would say I
50.
listened to a lot more Tracy Lawrence than I did Tracy Bird. I love Tracy Bird,
Yeah.
but like as far as singing, probably I may have gone after Tracy Lawrence a little more. But yeah, like I said, I think it's funny because I think that may be I'm just pontificating here. I think that's the right word. I'm gonna look real stupid if I try to use a big word like that, and it wasn't even right.
Yeah.
But I think that may be part of the reason that people like my music so much is that it's not like a '90s gimmick thing.
No,
I'm
no.
not trying to. This is all I know how to do. It's not like I've made the choice to like I'm gonna be the '90s throwback guy.
Yeah.
It's like I grew up listening and learning from the same guys that all those '90s guys would have been influenced by. So it comes from just as genuine of a place as those guys did, the first time they came around. And obviously, like you said, for a lot of us, it is like reminiscent, and it's like,
Yeah.
I kind of heard this before, and so it feels comfortable, feels like an old boot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then younger kids, they're getting introduced to it for the first time, which
100%.
is crazy. It's fun to see, how many little high school age, college age, whatever it is. I call them kids. I'm not that old, but they're turned on by country music,
Yeah.
and it's fun to see that there's a fresh audience for it. And I think that's one of the funnest things too about
man.
the shows that I've been playing. We do get such a range of people
Yeah.
that come out for the shows. We get 75-year-olds too that grew up on Merle Haggard and stuff like that, and they love what I'm doing. And then all the way down to shit, we got 3, 4, 5-year-olds coming out to their first show, to come see us and stuff, and all the like I said, high school, college age, all that. It's fun to just see that whole range. That there's a little bit of something there for everybody. I feel like is nice. Yeah.
Well, I think it's what you mentioned. It's not gimmicky. Like I think it's been trying. Like people have tried to do that, and it's people see right through it. Like they come and they go, but
Yep.
You're authentic in your music. You're authentic in your writing. I think that's what helps people resonate with it.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I try to be. Like I said, I've said before, I got a little heat for saying something about I couldn't write a Morgan Wallen song if I tried.
I saw that quote.
What I'd said, I think they just pulled that little snippet out of there because they figured folks would click on it. But what I was saying was, it just like I don't know how to do that. Like I couldn't sit down and like, all right, I'm gonna try and write a song that I could pitch to him or something.
Yeah.
It just like when I write and sing and play, that's what comes out of me. Stuff that's on that first record that we just put out. That's all I know how to do. So anyway, that was all I was saying about that.
So what is your songwriting process? I know like it's kind of different for everybody, but like how do you get to not sounds like the radio or something like that? What gets you to that point?
It's all over the place, man. Ideas come from everywhere. Like the title of the album, Cold Beer and Country Music, which that's second song on the record, I think.
It's a fan favorite.
But yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure.
So
and that thing was, my producer seen that on the back of a T-shirt, and he called me. He was out in Colorado. I was in Nashville at the time. He called me like 5 minutes after he'd seen that T-shirt. He's like, "Dude, I got a title for us. We got to write this thing." So that's like one thing. And then by the time I sat down and wrote it with him, hell, he had most of the first verse and the chorus done on it. So I was like, thanks for letting me put my name on this one with you.
Yeah.
We tweaked it around and stuff together. But sometimes they come that easy. And sounds like the radio was actually his idea too. That was a title that he'd sat on for a long time. That's been kind of funny too. Yeah. So my producer's name's Carson Chamberlain, so I don't have to keep calling him my producer. Carson, he's got a running list of song ideas from like all the way back into the 80s, I think.
Wow.
So, and he's got them like kind of dated in his computer, and so he'll go back through every now and then. We'll have so that's I guess I'm getting sidetracked here, but that's one way. Like you just see something or hear a phrase or something that's like that could be a song. And then the other kind of way, which I feel like is more the way I end up coming to songs, is I'll have melody ideas. I think I'm more of a melody guy than a lyric guy. Try to throw a word in here and there, but a lot of times my strength is a melody, I think. So I'll have like a little guitar riff or just a melody I'm humming that's like, yeah, that's something. All right, let's find a line or a phrase or something that goes with that. So we've done before. We've gone back through Carson's thing and we wrote, in the last 5 years, we've written ideas that he's had since 86 or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of funny, kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah. And hell, and sometimes you just start from the beginning and right through.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times you start with that hook idea kind of thing and write a chorus and then kind of build around that. But yeah, like I said, they come all kinds of different ways. I think most writers would agree that you can't really predict how it's going to go. Nobody has one, sure way that they write, but yeah.
Way she goes. Well, let's talk about your album, Cold Beer Country Music. It's your first full-length album.
Yeah.
So it's kind of popped off, changed your life a little bit, hey, for lack of a better term. Like you played CMA Fest not too long ago.
Yep.
You're in Canada touring.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. Heading to Under the Big Sky this weekend.
Yes, sir. So
yeah, what's that been like, that journey since releasing it to now?
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. Pardon me. It's been it's kind of funny. We've been sitting on these songs for so long. I think the oldest song on there is 5 years old or something when we wrote it.
Yep.
So it's, and then we had, I think there was 4 or 5 of them or something that we
Mm-hmm.
put out as singles over the couple years leading up to putting out the record. But it was like, I feel like I've been sitting around like just fidgeting, waiting to get this thing out for people for so dang long. And I'm just thankful that other people seem to be as hungry for it, as eager for it as I was for it to come out. And it definitely, felt like it flipped a switch a little bit. Like it was already, there was some momentum happening for me, I think, and picking up on socials and, doing a little more streaming numbers and stuff like that. But when we put that record out, it was like, holy cow, it blew the doors off it a little bit. It ain't been, no crazy viral thing like, a Zach Bryan thing or a Wyatt Flores or, there's been those guys that have just like come out of nowhere and it's like, oh my God, you're the #1 artist in, in the genre in 2 months. And I hadn't heard your name before. Yeah. So that's crazy. But anyway, it feels like there's just been a really steady build, which has been fun. And, it's like, heck, we haven't played a show that hasn't been sold out since February.
Wow.
And that's before that, it was like, we're booking 200 cap rooms and it's like, okay, if we can get 110 in here, that'll feel pretty full. We'll be able to have some fun with that. And then all of a sudden it was like, stuff was selling out months in advance and whatnot. And just like, that's so much more fun when you, know you're walking into a room that's going to be chock full. And just, the thing that always gets me when I walk on stage is the now having all these songs out that people can listen to, they sing along with every one off the record. Man, so it's cool. It gives me chills every night. It's wild to just like some little ditty that I made up and y'all liked it good enough to listen to it enough times that you know the words to it and you want to sing it back at me is, it's crazy to me. But it's been super fun. I feel very blessed and just, real fortunate that I've said before, with this whole return to kind of traditional country music that I get to be a little part of, it's so much of it is a right place, right time thing. Like 100%. The genre is cyclical. It swings one way and it swings back the other. That's happened since the beginning of the genre. But I feel very fortunate that I happened to come on, right place, right time. If I'd have tried to put this record out 5 years ago, I bet it wouldn't have worked. At least not, to the extent that it's working now. I'm sure there still would have been some people that would have enjoyed it. But, like, it felt like we came to the brink of that. Like, all right, that pendulum's going to swing back the other way. And I was lucky enough to, get to be right when it seemed that was happening to put that record out and kind of make my little entrance onto the scene, I guess.
First onto the scene.
Yeah.
So back to the album. I want to know what your favorite song is on the album.
Oh, I want to know what my favorite kid is. That's hard, man. Because, like...
There's probably some that are, like, funner to play on stage. Some funner to sing in a different setting.
Yeah. I could not pick one favorite, probably. I'll say if I had to pick one favorite, I think it would be I Never Lie. And that's been fun to see how much people have gravitated toward that song since the record's come out. I think that's the #1 streaming song off the record so far, which is great to me because it's just like, it's a ballad. It's country to the bone. There's no, it's it didn't even have to be up tempo and fun. It's, and I think I love the thing because I don't know if everybody gets it, but the whole song is a joke, and the title is I Never Lie. The whole song is lies.
But you're lying.
Yeah, exactly. I just love that thing because I'm a very sarcastic person, like in my normal life and stuff. So that song was just fun for me to write.
Oh yeah.
And I got to probably I don't know. It's one of the goofiest rhymes I've ever written, rhyming angel with April. I sat there with Tim Nichols, who's a Hall of Fame songwriter, and then Carson, my producer, who's been on list #1 songs longer than I can count. And we got that chorus written. We're really excited about it. Started working on this first verse, and we somehow that line fell out. Well, it's been some time. You still look like an angel. I was like, that's a great, just start to a conversation, start to a song, whatever. And then we were kind of like we were stuck for a while on where to go from there. And, I felt pretty tickled with myself that I came up with a line that they liked. And it was that goofy rhyme, what has it been sometimes, still look like an angel. I heard you're doing fine, got promoted back in April.
Yeah.
And, I was just like, it's kind of a goofy little rhyme scheme. But then, yeah, I love those kind of songs too, where you kind of like, you're only hearing one side of the conversation, like the first person side of the conversation, and you got to piece together what the other half of it is, and it's kind of a choose your own adventure thing for whoever's listening to it. And so I like that about it, and it's just it's funny to me that the whole song is just sarcastic and
Well, even in a live situation, it can be fun to play. That gets people like tapping their toes and dancing.
Oh yeah, man, that song rocks on the live shows and stuff. People love it. It's so fun. Yeah, if I don't want to pick a favorite off the album, but if I had to pick one,
that one.
Yeah, I'd probably be that first one, I think.
Yeah. You briefly touched on it not a few questions ago, but social media has become such a big part of the music game.
Yep.
How has it affected you? Obviously, it's helped kind of get you to this point in a sense, but when did you start noticing the effect that it was starting to have on your career?
Man, I mean, that was all the way from the beginning.
Yeah.
That was how I got hooked up with Carson in the first place. Like, I was swinging a hammer working construction out in Colorado, and I always wanted to do this, but it was just like always a pipe dream thing. I didn't know anybody in Nashville. I didn't know, my parents weren't musical at all. They didn't know anything about the music business, so I didn't have no help there. And it was just always kind of like I think I could do it if I could ever get noticed or, whatever, but I don't know how to get to Nashville or what the hell I'd do when I got there. So I guess I'll work construction. I'll get a job where I can afford to go play on the weekends for fun, And then I put a few little videos on Facebook, just me and a guitar playing old cover songs that I liked. And they, for a while, just like, I get 1,500, 3,000 views here and there or something, nothing that was really making much noise. And then when you remember a guy named Daryl Singletary?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ain't never had too much fun.
Oh, yeah, man. He had so many good songs and one of the best singers I think, we've had since guys like Haggard and Jones and all that. So anyway, he passed away spring of 2018, I guess, and I put a cover up of his song Spilled Whiskey. And that thing blew up for me. Like I'd said, I'd never had more than, a couple thousand views or something on a video. And I put that thing on Facebook, and it jumped up to, I think it was like 300,000 views or something in a couple weeks. And I started getting calls and emails and stuff from Nashville, mostly shyster types that were like, it's like, if you can come up with $20,000, come out here, we'll cut you a record, and we'll make you a big star. And it's like, I didn't know nothing, but it was like, I don't think that's how it works. So anyway, I was getting a bunch of that kind of communication, and I kind of got burnt out of it, and so quit answering the calls and quit responding to the emails. Somewhere in that onslaught, Carson had emailed me, and he didn't say nothing in there. It's funny, if you know Carson for 5 minutes, it makes perfect sense that this would be the email that he would send, but it was just like, hey bud, my name's Carson Chamberlain, been working in the music business a long time, not much for tooting my own horn, but you could probably look me up if you want to. Give me a call sometime. Maybe we could work together. And so I just paid no attention to it. And then ended up the gal that I was dating at the time, she called me a couple weeks later. And I was out on a show somewhere. Anyway, she called me and she was like, hey, you remember this Chamberlain fella? I don't know, no. And she's like, okay, I'm sending you a Wikipedia link. You're going to want to look at that, and we're going to want to email this guy back. And so I did, and, seen that he was steel player, band leader for Keith Whitley, tour managed Alan Jackson, Clint Black, long list of #1 songs he's been a writer on, produced Mark Wills, Billy Currington, Easton Corbin, all this great stuff that I was a fan of. And just like, dang, now if that, guy's interested in me, maybe I got something here. And so he was kind of the one that, originally felt like I was able to get a foot in the door, and he really mentored me and stuff when I started coming to town. But anyway, all that long rambling story to say that, that was social media
doing its job.
And yeah, everything since then has been kind of the same way. When I first finally moved to Nashville, I'd been flying in and out for 2 years, working with Carson, co-writing some, doing that kind of thing. And when I finally got moved there full time, March of 21, I guess, I think I'd been there for 2 weeks or something, and some TikTok video blew up a little bit, and I got my publishing deal off of that.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I don't know, everything since then got a management deal. Record label came along, you know, a year and a half or so after that. So like everything has kind of come from that. It's pretty ironic because
Right.
it like I feel like I'm pretty old school, you know, just
Yeah,
as a person,
yeah.
let alone with the music and stuff. So it's kind of goofy that I don't know if it's goofy. Like I'm glad that it works for, you
Yeah.
know, obviously like stuff like TikTok is a real young demographic that's watching that. So to see that stuff is having success, you know, old school stuff is connecting with people on that, you know, platform is cool for me. That's like, all right, I'm not, you know, I shouldn't have been born in the 80s. It's all right that
It's
I'm
all right.
born now and
Yeah.
it's working now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. It's funny. I got off of it as quick as I could. I got people that run it for me now.
Right.
I
Yeah.
got off of it last year, but yeah, it's obviously huge useful tool, and
Right.
it you know, as much I feel like I can gripe and moan about it a lot, but it is also like such a powerful tool for independent artists coming
Yeah.
up. Like when I first got to town, I kind of made the rounds with the record labels and stuff, and everybody was just kind of didn't know what to do with me, kind of passed on it,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like I don't know, you know, let us know, keep us in the loop, you know, just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
we don't
Our
want to
people
do
will
nothing
call
with
your
it.
people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, back in the day, if you didn't get a record deal, it's like, okay, well, I guess you go back home and play your little local bar scene, and
Seeing ever.
that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the way it is now, you know, I was able to, okay, well, I'll just keep working and putting out stuff. Obviously, it seems to be connecting with people as far as
Somebody.
I can see. So it like, we'll just keep working on that and keep growing the thing grassroots style. With social media. So it's really it's a powerful tool, and I've been very blessed to have some success on it and be able to use it.
Does it add any pressure knowing that like you because like with the way TikTok and stuff works, people aren't listening to all of your music or can't get access to all of your album. Do you find there's a pressure to like follow up with anything, or you got to like kind of bring anything extra to it? Because you've seen a lot of one hit wonders. Not saying you're one hit wonder, but like you
No.
see people come like through pop music, especially through TikTok. They come, they get a clip of a song is really popular, but then you never really hear from them afterwards.
Yeah.
But do you find that there's any added pressure from social?
I don't know. I don't get that at all. I think you see, like you're talking about the one hit wonder thing. I think there's a lot of that right now. Just one little. The funny thing to me is that like I had we had I think 300 some songs written before we
Right.
picked out the 12 to go on this record, and you know, spent 5 years doing that. It wasn't like and I've been playing and singing since I was 5 years old.
That's a thing too.
It wasn't like I just made this goofy little video and then like, oh shit, this thing blew up.
Yeah,
I guess I'm famous now. You know, it's like
yeah.
whether I got famous off it or not, like this is what
Always
I
what you
do, and so I feel like I've got enough to back it up. That's like I'm using the platform to help my career, not just like not building my career on the platform.
You're not chasing clout
that makes
basically.
sense.
Like, you're not like going for like likes and views on your videos.
No, that don't matter too much to me. Like it's a helpful tool to get
100%.
people in to see, you know, the shows. But that's what I want to do is, you know, what we're going to do later tonight. Have a room full of people screaming the words of the songs I wrote back to me. You know, like so whatever works to get to that.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know, I can't imagine some of these things that just blow up out of nowhere on TikTok that, you know, it's like, dang, you got 15 seconds of a song that went viral and you've never played a show. Like, how are you going to put on an hour and a half show for, you know, people now? They're, you know, and people do crazy numbers. Like, all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, you got 2,000 people showing up to see your show. How are you going to entertain them for 90 minutes? And so that's the thing for me. I feel like that's like, I can back it up. But when stuff has kind of popped off a little bit or something on socials, I'm not worried because it's like, if you come see my show, I'm gonna sound as good as I did in that TikTok video, and you know, and there's more outside of that too that I think
100%.
people can enjoy. So,
That's a great answer. The reason I brought that up is because I was listening to Theo Vaughn was in Luke Combs, and they had a good conversation.
Theo, dude.
They had a good conversation about that of how like you get these kids who have 15 seconds of a song. It's like they haven't like put on the miles, they haven't put on any shows anywhere. They have that like, what the hell am I like? How am I gonna play an hour and a half somewhere? It's an interesting thing to think about when it comes to, because you can, that's where social media almost becomes a negative part of the music business versus a positive tool, which is big for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of times, that like skyrocket sort of. It's all right.
Passion about
Roll on. Show must go on. You know, when that viral moment or whatever comes too early for an artist, yeah, it's like too much to handle almost, as opposed to like if you have obviously you're hoping at some point something goes viral and you just blow up and become the biggest thing in the world. But I think it's necessary to have a little of that, like just steady climb, slow, steady growth with stuff to kind of allow you to be ready for, when that big old spike comes and stuff. Like, all right, I'm prepared for this. I'm built for it at this point. I've got,
Let's paying your dues, right?
Exactly. Yeah. A little bit of that. Yeah. If you want to call it that. Yeah.
Okay, I got one last thing to cover in our kind of the hard hitting part. We'll get into some fun stuff. But
come on.
We're here at the Ranchman's. It's iconic music venue. I'm not sure if some of the people who played on the stage, like Toby Keith, Kenny Chesney.
I was looking through all that, seeing all the pictures, signed pictures and stuff on the wall. I spent a little time this afternoon walking around.
It's a pretty iconic venue, like I would say in Canada and in Alberta.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be like to proverbially share that stage with people like the likes of that?
Yeah. I'm pumped, man. I love every time we get to, there's a lot of those obviously down in the U.S. too, but like there's a lot of clubs around. You can find a couple every decent sized town. There's going to be a country club you can go play.
Yep.
But there are those that stick out. That's kind of like this is like a rite of passage type of venue. And from what I know of this, that's the kind of venue this is, and seems like it's got the history to make it that sort of thing. And so I love playing them things. It's always fun to like you said. There's like a whole bunch of my heroes, guys that I've emulated and looked up to and grew up on their music, have played this thing before me. So it's fun all right, maybe I'm really doing it too. I don't know, but we're trying. So yeah, that'll be fun, and it's just a great room, man. It just old school honky tonk feeling thing. There's not many of those left around. I feel like outside of you can get a bunch of them down in Texas and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I'm pumped. It's gonna be a blast, and I know being a fan of the rodeo world and everything from when I was a little kid. The Stampede's one of the biggest rodeo events for anybody in the rodeo world, and so it's fun to get to be here while that's going on. And yeah, it's gonna be.
We were super stoked when they announced you're coming, man. Because you're the perfect artist for this venue, and I think you could play the Dome, but anyways, that's beside the point. But I think it's gonna be a really fun night, and we're stoked.
Yeah,
to see you play.
It's gonna be a blast.
Okay, I want to get into some fun stuff, some fun like rapid fire stuff here before.
This hasn't been fun so far. I've been having a large time.
It's been really fun, but we're gonna have some action.
Yeah,
I've actually been having a terrible. Okay,
another day in the salt mines.
Exactly. Working hard.
Yeah,
the basement of the Ranchman's, sweating our butts.
That's right.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, I want to play a game.
Come on.
I want to call it. It's called. Is this the title to a '90s country song or is it AI?
Okay.
So you have to guess whether it's a title to an actual song or an AI.
I like it.
Okay. First song, Whiskey on My Mind.
That sounds like AI.
Oh, nice one. 1 for 1. Okay. Second one, Put Yourself in My Shoes.
That's an actual song. Put yourself in my shoes.
Yeah,
the Clint Black. There you go. Yeah, I couldn't come up with that.
Perfect. Hey, man, 2 for 2. You're good. You're better at this than I thought you were going to be. Okay. This one might be a little too easy, but a little past Little Rock.
Yeah, it's Leanne Womack. I'm a little past a little rock.
Okay. Next one. Two Stepping Into Love.
That's AI.
And this might be the wrong guy to play this.
I'm telling you, if there's a 90s country title, I probably know it.
Okay. This one might be too easy, but I'm also hoping I can get you your next single out of these titles.
Perfect.
Have this might play into it.
Good.
Ben's Post Confession.
Yeah, that'd be AI. Ben's Post Confession.
That's a good one.
That's not. It could be something.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. My Heart Has a History.
My Heart Has a History?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to stump me maybe a little bit. I don't remember a song by it, so I'll say AI.
That's by Paul Brandt, Canadian.
Paul Brandt. Oh, now I feel bad.
That was a big hit.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah, that was
My Heart Has a History. It's a good title. I like it. Like I said, I just couldn't come up with a song, but it's a great title.
I'll play it for you after we jump off here. It's
good.
a banger. Okay. Couple more left.
Yep, come on.
Holding Heaven.
That's Tracy Byrne. I'm holding heaven in my arms tonight.
I forget how many he's got right and got wrong now. But
you're doing. I only missed one so far. I only missed the Paul Brandt.
Oh damn. Yeah. Okay, 2 left. Cowboys Lullaby.
Cowboys Lullaby. That's AI.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
It is. Another good one though. And then finally we got Love in a Pickup Truck.
It also sounds like AI. That's like some of them are just like, come on, yeah, it's too like easy. That's too much of a country trope to nobody would actually write that.
Man, it was funny. I put like that just into ChatGPT as like, hey, let's generate me some like 90s country songs.
Yeah, man. Some of them, it's wild how good that thing can do.
It's crazy.
Yeah, especially if you give it like a little more prompting.
Oh yeah.
Like you can get stuff that sounds like you would believe somebody wrote that.
Oh, I got it to do one time. To do a song about my friend's dog by Cody Johnson to the tune of if you got a chance or
sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Until you can't.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so fun.
That's hilarious.
Okay, this is the last question. I think it's a pretty fun one. What is your 90s country mullet Mount Rushmore?
Ooh. Okay, so four mullets.
4 mullets from the 90s. Who was on it?
Allen's got to be. Alan Jackson. Keith Whitley had a beautiful, and he had the front of his perms.
So good. It was permed all the way around.
Yeah, exactly. That thing was something, man. That was beautiful. Let me go. Tracy Lawrence just also has.
Good one.
My appearance gets compared to him a lot, just with the thin, scraggly little mustache, and I
can see it.
And a little. I have a baby mullet too, but it ain't much.
The last one.
Fourth one. Dang. I want to be careful about this. I don't want to leave out because I can think of a bunch, but I want to leave out.
I'm thinking of one that if it gets left out, might roast.
It's going to be okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I need you to be ready with it.
I'm ready.
Draw.
It's only one. It's only one.
Let's go.
So we got Alan Jackson, Tracy Lawrence,
and Keith Whitley.
Keith Whitley so far. Pretty solid list.
Yeah, that's a solid list. I'll go. See, I feel like I'm missing something, but we just gotta commit. Let's go with
Pressure's on.
Mark Chestnut had a much more gentle little mullet, but still had one. Now I'm just going with singers that I like. Anyway, who did I miss?
Billy Ray Cyrus, dude.
No, see, I knew you were going to say that, and I ain't putting Billy Ray Cyrus on my Mount Rushmore in any country.
Mullets, man, come on, dude.
Yeah, okay. But he's wearing white Air Forces, all right? Just come on.
Man, George wore white Air Forces in Pure Country.
I wear white Air Forces.
Yeah, everybody.
They're kind of sweet.
Yeah.
But not on stage. Come on.
That's true.
No, that was the one I thought of that, and I was like,
that
no, I can't. That's not going to be. I'm having a Mount Rushmore of country artists with mullets. He can't be in a Mount Rushmore of country artists. I don't care what the criteria is. Anyway,
fair enough, man.
Billy Ray, I love you, I bet. But no.
But no, you don't make the cut, brother. All right, man. This has been so awesome. Thanks for taking the time. It's been a big day. I hope we're stoked to check out the show tonight, man. It's gonna be great.
Beautiful.
And
it'll be a fun time.
We'll be singing along.
Heck yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.